Just ahead on CTV News, the acting county executive delivers her State of the County address.
Just 6 weeks after that incredible recovery operation, tonight they're heroes. I'm Noel James, and just ahead, the honors bestowed upon the Prince George's Police Department.
And one council member is looking to help seniors battle utility costs. Those stories and more on CTV News starting now. Good evening, this is CTV News for March 13th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, topping our news tonight, the Prince George's County Executive's Office has unveiled the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026, marking a year of challenges and difficult decisions. The budget, totaling approximately $5.8 billion, focuses on key areas such as education and public safety. Despite the fiscal uncertainties posed by federal layoffs and state budget deficits. The county executive emphasized the need to balance investments with responsible financial planning. To balance the budget, the county has had to make cuts across several departments, including public works and human resources. However, critical programs such as health care and stormwater management are being preserved.
In our fiscal year 2026 budget, we took steps to overcome a large deficit. We have had to make tough choices. Despite historic uncertainty, we've made continued investment in education and public safety while making necessary cuts in other areas. Residents will feel these cuts, but they will help us maintain the fiscal responsibility that's needed to protect our community.
The County Council will now have to review and approve the budget. Well, we have a developing story out of Capitol Hill. A U.S. district judge has ordered all probationary federal employees to be reinstated immediately. Judge William Alsup states the drastic actions from the Trump administration to shrink the size of the federal government sidestepped legal requirements, calling the mass firings and justification for doing so a, quote, sham and gimmick. This decision will affect the Department of Defense, Treasury, Energy, Interior, Agriculture, and Veterans Affairs. An appeal is expected to come soon from the Trump administration. And the preliminary results are in for the City of College Park District 3 City Council race. University of Maryland chaplain Ray Ranker leads in the special election, earning 338 of the total 504 votes counted thus far. With competitors Michael Meadow and Gannon Sprinkle trailing behind, the City of College Park is expecting an updated final count by Friday. Meanwhile, new election numbers have come in from the county's special primary election. Unofficial results show Aisha Braveboy as the likely projected winner of the Democratic Party's pick for county executive. Braveboy has received 46.47% of the vote. If results continue to trend in her favor, she will most likely face off against Republican Jonathan White during the general election this summer. And in the District 5 race, Democrat Shayla Adams Stafford and Republican Fred Price Jr. will likely face off in the general election. Election officials say their goal is to certify the election results by Friday as well. And a Montgomery County Council member is throwing his hat in the race for County Executive 2026. Evan Glass, a current at-large member on the County Council, is looking to be Montgomery County's next top leader. Glass, a Democrat, announced his candidacy yesterday. He currently chairs the Transportation and Environment Committee and is a member of the Economic Development Committee. If he wins the race, he would be the first openly gay county executive. And county leadership and the Prince George's Police Department honored members of their dive team for their heroic efforts in the fatal mid-air plane collision. CTV's Noel James has the details.
They braved the treacherous waters of the Potomac following that deadly crash over Reagan National Airport. Tonight, Prince George's County shines a spotlight on the officers of the Special Operations Division. These are the brave men and women of the Marine and Underwater Recovery Unit of the Prince George's Police Department. This team of divers was commended by police and county leadership for their heroic efforts after that catastrophic air disaster near Reagan National Airport. As we reported, a military helicopter collided with a commercial jet. This was the worst air disaster in decades, claiming 67 lives. These officers responded to the crash site and had the painstaking assignment trying to find survivors in the 30-degree waters of the Potomac.
But when we arrived, we were informed there were most likely no survivors.
The first thing that was noticeable was the strong odor of unburnt jet fuel. It was absolutely surreal. Seeing the mangled aircraft in the water, I couldn't imagine.
We never felt the cold. We never felt the wet. We never said very much to each other. We just got the job done. It's what we do.
That job earned their team this proclamation commending them for their heroism.
These men and women are amazing. They don't need any added motivation from any other level because they have that mindset. Let's go, let's help.
Now, this same group of officers was also involved in the recovery of victims at the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. And just an update, the NTSB is recommending immediate changes at Reagan, saying the current helicopter routes pose an intolerable risk to aviation safety. I'm Noel James in Upper Marlboro for CTV News.
Noel, thanks so much for that report. The Prince George's Fire and EMS Department had their hands full Wednesday evening. First, they reported a person was hit by a metro train shortly before 4 p.m. This was the scene at the West Hyattsville station on Hamilton Street. The person was removed from underneath the train and treated by the EMS unit on scene. The status of the person's condition is not known at this time. And later Wednesday night, the fire department was called to a storage unit in Suitland for reports of a homemade pipe bomb. The storage unit was located at 4414 Suitland Road. According to the department, workers cleaning out the unit found a 12-inch long steel pipe with a fuse. The bomb squad determined that it was an active explosive device and safely disabled it. Investigators are still working to determine who left the device in the facility. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, it's been 5 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. After the break, we speak to a counselor on how the virus changed the world and how we interact with one another. We'll be right back.
Listen up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong, so I won't sugarcoat it. I need each one of you on your A game. The good news is, Anthony, the human body we've been tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with brand new gear to defend against the flu. That's right, we've upgraded our game with this new equipment. They give you a little extra boost. So let's go fight for Anthony, for his mom, his co-workers, that nice lady Patricia that lives down the street with the cute dog. In the face of viral adversity, we make Anthony thrive so he can protect himself and the people he loves most. Are you with me? Yeah!
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back. A crash in Greenbelt that sent a scooter operator to the hospital last year is now being investigated as a deadly collision. Last October, Prince George's police arrived in the area of Crescent Road and Green Hill Road. Investigation shows a driver hit 19-year-old Tamar Goddett as he was riding his scooter in the bike lane. Goddett was taken to the hospital for critical injuries. PGPD learned he recently died on March 2nd. And the search continues for a missing Charles County man. 61-year-old Robert Norris, known as Bubba, was last seen on March 1st leaving his home in White Plains to go to a friend's house in Clinton. Police say that he stopped at 2 homes in Prince George's but never arrived at his friend's house. Norris's white Ford F-150 was found March 7th in Temple Hills, but there has been no recent activity on his phone or credit cards. Norris is 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, with short gray hair and a shark tattoo on his right wrist. Anyone with information on Norris's whereabouts is urged to call 301-609-6479.
Energy concerns, everybody was worked up. They said they did not know why their bills were getting high. And I felt that it was my job as your representative to make sure that you are fully informed.
Today, Councilmember Walla Blagay hosted a senior forum after many residents have voiced concerns over utility bill increases this winter. Residents got to speak directly with company representatives from PEPCO, WSSC Water, and BGE about why some of their bills are up nearly 300%. Company representatives provided explanations to the recent increase, with PEPCO providing information on payment plan options. PEPCO has informed its customers that due to the current economic conditions, no customer service will be removed at this time. And the fight for Medicare recipients' freedom to choose their providers continues. 17 attorneys general, including Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown, are lobbying the Supreme Court to uphold the current standard practice. Yesterday, Attorney General Anthony Brown commented on the matter, stating, quote, "All Marylanders, regardless of their income or insurance, deserve the freedom to choose a medical provider who can meet the full spectrum of their health needs." And Maryland is another step closer to regulating the cost of prescription drugs. The Maryland Senate voted 35-12 on Senate Bill 350. The bill would expand the power of the Maryland Prescription Drug Affordability Board. Currently, the board is able to limit high drug costs for state and local governments. However, not yet for all Marylanders. The bill has also passed the House chamber. Health advocates anticipate Governor Westmore signing the bill. And it's been 5 years since the COVID-19 virus changed the way we live. The virus, which swept through the country, led to deaths of millions of Americans. A mask mandate was put in place, restaurants closed, education moved to virtual learning, and social distancing became the new normal. But now, 5 years later, mental health professionals say the uncertainty that health challenges can bring has now led to some clients dealing with anxiety and depression. Judalyn Comey of Guidance of Hope also says the pandemic has led to some clients switching jobs to a more purpose-driven career.
You go to the grievance of the pandemic, right? Which was the big theme, like people not only losing jobs, losing loved ones, but just grieving it gives you a different change in terms of perspective. So there's a lot of reflection that a lot of clients went through around like reassessing their values and relationship, their priorities, like seeking meaning out of life. The whole idea, I think the common theme, life is short, or I want to be intentional. I want to focus on the day. I want to focus on this. I want to focus on impacting people, making a change. That's more of the theme. I think that's one of the wonderful things that came out of the pandemic.
And given the political climate, she recommends that everyone should work on masking themselves a priority, or making themselves a priority rather, and understand the things you can and cannot control. Well, Maryland's unique hospital rate setting program is being phased out by the Trump administration. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced Maryland's total cost of care model will be replaced with new innovation payment models. State officials had already planned to phase out the current model by 2026, but hospitals are concerned about potential loss of federal funding. Maryland had planned to transition to the AHEAD model, but medical leaders are now watching for changes from the Trump administration to the federal plan. And so to come on CTV News, if you missed out on the cool eclipse we saw last summer, you'll soon have another chance. After the break, we speak to NASA on when you can watch the next eclipse and what you'll need. Stay with us.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
With macular degeneration, you lose your central vision.
You have a blind spot right in the center of your face, so I can't actually see your face.
So even that little circle in which I could see became a big blur.
I was 65 when I first was diagnosed with glaucoma.
There were no symptoms. I had no headaches.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
You lose mobility, independence, changes your entire life.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
My husband tells me that I have beautiful brown eyes, and I don't want to lose that.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
Diversity is in our nature. It is in nature, too. Biodiversity. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk more than ever before, and the future of all life is in our hands. So what will you do? Love it or lose it?
It is so hot out today, but I'm about to get this hike in, and I just had to show you the view. Beautiful.
Yo, you should come out here. We came outside to unwind.
Oh, wow.
Close the laptop. Transmission.
We outside, come find us.
The discussion on whether to change the way Maryland Circuit Court judges are elected has been tabled for yet at least another year. A bill this session would allow Marylanders to vote on a constitutional amendment that would change the current system where circuit court judges stand for re-election. But this week, the bill's sponsor, Senator William Smith Jr., acknowledged that the bill didn't have the votes it needed and that the debate would have to continue in a different session. Critics of the current system say circuit judges having to campaign in elections presents ethical concerns, but supporters say open elections increase diversity on the bench. And the winners of the 12th annual Maryland Financial Education and Capability Awards were announced, and two of them are right here from Prince George's County. The awards highlight the success of public school teachers, community champions, and outstanding organizations who deliver financial education. We spoke to the Director of Strategic Partnerships, Sue Rogan, on why the awards were created and how winners were chosen.
The Maryland Financial Education and Capability Awards were created in collaboration with the Maryland State Department of Education, the Maryland Council on Economic Education, and the Cash Campaign of Maryland. As you can imagine, being able to manage your finances successfully is a critical life skill, but it can be very hard to learn how to manage money. So we're not born with that knowledge, and it's not intuitive. So these awards were really created to highlight K through 12 teachers, individuals, and outstanding organizations who are leaders in providing financial education to Marylanders. Part of it is just going beyond providing fact-based, credible, unbiased financial education, but also stepping up to be a leader in the field. So participating with other organizations in collaboration, having a reach that is far and wide across the state, really are some other things that we look at in the criteria for these awards.
And make sure you tune in to CTV News tomorrow when we talk to one of the winners from right here in the county. And a local company who creates charging devices for electric vehicles are making plans toward profitability. Blink Charging Company, who operates out of Bowie, is the third largest EV charger maker in the United States. President and CEO Michael Battaglia is working on expanding with adding more charging stations, including expanding overseas to Europe. Battaglia now says the company is making a shift with profitability being their, quote, #1 focus. And look up tomorrow morning, the moon will glow red during a rare total lunar eclipse, and it's happening on Pi Day. The eclipse begins March 14th at 2:26 a.m. and will be visible across North and South America, Western Europe, and Africa. It happens when the Earth perfectly aligns between the sun and moon, casting a red glow as sunrises and sunsets from around the world reflect off the lunar surface.
You can see it outside at night just by going out and looking up. Unlike last year when you needed special glasses to view the solar eclipse, for a lunar eclipse, you don't need anything, just clear skies and clear eyes, and maybe an alarm clock if you're on the East Coast, because totality is going to be around 3 a.m. So you don't need any special technology. Just get as away from light sources as you can and look up at the moon, and it'll look bright red.
And no special glasses needed. Just step outside, grab a blanket, and enjoy the show. And still to come, Simon Buggs has our Thursday sports page.
What's up, sports fans? The Laurel High School boys basketball team was in action last night against Meade. And could the Spartans pull out the win and advance to the state championship game? Find out right here on CTV Sports right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit asiaretirement.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Okay, God, it's finally time for the Thursday sports page. We begin with some highlights from the world of high school hoops. The high school state boys basketball playoffs continued last night as Laurel took on the Meade Mustangs. Beginning with the first quarter, the Spartans got off to a good start as this strong finish inside as well as this putback dunk, both from Gilbert Asafo, and this mid-range jumper from Amadou Kaloga had the team out in front 8-5 to begin the quarter. But some bad turnovers as well as some missed shots from Laurel kept them from building their lead, and this tray ball from Keon Scott capped off a small 6-3 run for the Mustangs to tie the game at 11-all going into the second quarter. Now Meade started the second quarter off with a 14-11 lead over the Spartans, but thanks to some made free throws from number 10 Elijah Mahdi, Laurel absolutely locking up Scott on this possession where they forced him to turn the ball over, and combo guard Jermaine Taylor knocking down this shot from downtown. The Spartans took a 17-14 lead, and the Spartans kept the lead going into halftime and for the rest of the game, winning it 64-52 and advancing to the state championship game. Laurel will match up against Walt Whitman in the big game on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Congratulations, fellas. And there was more high school action yesterday as the Largo boys team advanced to the state title game also after beating Dunbar in overtime 70-64. The Flowers boys season came to a close, falling to Walt Whitman 55-44. And finally, the Frederick Douglass girls team will try to capture the state title next year as they fell to Hereford 36-29. And moving on to more basketball news, Terp center Derek Queen has had a monster season for head coach Kevin Willard and company. So much so that the freshman was named to the All-Big Ten first team. Queen averaged almost 16 points as well as 9 boards, which ranked third in the Big Ten. The Baltimore native finished the regular season with 488 points, which is the third most by a freshman in the program's history. He is also just one of 2 D1 players that ranks top 2 on his team in points, total boards, assists, steals, and blocks. Queen and the rest of the team will take the court next in the Big Ten tournament tomorrow at 6:30. And Baltimore Ravens fans, there will be a new face joining the team as wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins has agreed to terms on a contract with the team. The 5-time Pro Bowler split time between the Tennessee Titans and Kansas City Chiefs in 2024. And he totaled 56 receptions for 610 yards and 5 touchdowns. In his first career Super Bowl with the Chiefs, the former All-Pro became the second receiver in Super Bowl history to have a receiving touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the same game. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Wizards will be in the Motor City tonight taking on Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Thursday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly cloudy out. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a high of 58, but some drizzle is expected later in the night. Saturday, we're going to have a high of 70, but we have a 30% chance of rain throughout the day. Sunday, that chance of rain increases to 90%. We'll have a high of 74 and a low of 48. And for our community calendar, tomorrow night, the city of Bowie is hosting middle school night. Middle schoolers are invited for an evening of games and activities like yoga, dance, and basketball. One snack is included, but please bring a reusable water bottle. This event takes place from 7 to 9 p.m., but for more information, contact 301-809-2384. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.